It is July 2025, and we are kicking off officially our first Moose Whisperer of the year.
Boy, I've been waiting for this, Curtis, for so long, and looking forward to it. 9.5 hours from home, straight north here in the province of Saskatchewan, of course, to a place called Lac La Ronge Provincial Park. And we're actually going a little further north than that.
Yeah.
To a place called Churchill River Canoe Outfitters. And we are looking forward to meeting Martin and Rick from Horizons Unlimited. It's just going to be great.
It is going to be a fantastic trip. The most north that we've ever been. Different scenery. We've got Mom in the back as always.
There she
along
is.
For the adventure.
There she is. And something different this time too, Curtis. Martin has said, you know what, guys, you got to get out on a fishing boat and enjoy some scenery and wildlife from a fishing boat. We haven't done that before.
No, we usually aren't water people, so we'll be trading in the moose wagon for a moose boat.
And I told him that a canoe wasn't going to work, and I'm not going to say why.
Important thing is we're on the road and we're ready to find some wildlife. We got 5 days to find as much wildlife as we can and take in some amazing scenery and experiences while we're here.
It's going to be a blast. I can't wait. Heading north now.
So one of our favorite things to do when we start out on these trips before we get into our photography and filming is highlighting some of the animals from this region that we can't wait to experience and hopefully capture on photo and video.
We always find out by doing a little research, and having spoke with Martin at Churchill River Canoe Outfitters, I hope that everything turns out fine because, boy, there's a lot of wildlife up here. We're talking bear, moose, there's wolves in the area as well, lots of eagles, and something that we have tried with every Moose Whisperer, Curtis, is otters.
Yes.
We have never had a chance to watch otters and videotape and photograph them, but Martin said 10 minutes from his place.
Hop on a boat, we're gonna get on the water for the first time, and yeah, 10 minutes we can see him, so we might finally get the otters that we've been waiting for.
We'll find out, but we're hoping for that. There's also some elk in the area too.
Yes.
And lynx. There's also lynx in the area, and we were really lucky to find a lynx on the last one last September, but
yeah.
I wouldn't turn down another opportunity like that.
No, those cats are very interesting to see and very tough to find, so if we can find some of those while we're out, we will never say no to them.
And you know what? Our philosophy is simply not to expect to find animals, but to take advantage and capture what you do find. And that's what this is all about.
Yes, yeah. And taking in the scenery while we can, meeting the people of the area, and just enjoying the entire experience that we're out here for. So
we always make a lot of good friends with each and every shoot. This one's not going to be any different.
Nope. When we planned this trip, we booked this well over a year ago, but just recently this year, the wildfires have been like really bad up north.
And we're probably going to be faced with a few challenges when it comes to that. We've been in communication with Martin and Rick, and trying to stay on top of things. There might be days where we have to deal with smoke. Some days might be worse than others, but you just got to make the best of it, and it's not going to be like that all the time. We may end up having 5 really rock solid days. We don't know, but we're well aware of that. And man, I really feel for those folks that have been put up with the evacuations and everything in northern Saskatchewan, northern Manitoba, and even down in the States, they're dealing with fires down there as well. It's really devastation, and we're going to see that when we drive through La Ronge today.
It'll be interesting to see how, you know, natural events like that affects the wildlife in the region, because I can imagine, just like people, when the forest that they live in goes up in flames, that they gotta, you know, relocate and find a new place. So
it's going to be different. There's a big coulee right there that's scorched. Wow, that's devastation right there.
There seems to be green vegetation still on the ditches, which tells me the fire either jumped the ditches in the road altogether or they were able to keep them wet, but there are a lot of trees that are gone and you can see have been affected.
It's just amazing how devastating it is. There's places that are close to the highway that are just ash, nothing left. The trees right to the top, most of them are just burnt right to the very top. And we're still several miles from La Ronge. We expected to see it, but until you actually see it, you don't realize the impact that it has made on this area. And the surprising thing, Curtis, is that we're going to drive through this to get to Missinippi, which is where we're staying. They were actually spared from the fires, so
they missed it almost altogether.
Yeah, they had lost power and cell service and a few other things that made it inconvenient for a few days. But we're going to drive through this, get back into some kind of normality.
Yep.
And wow, we were warned.
We were told, that the tougher stuff is between here and the destination.
Yeah, so it's devastating to say the least.
What are the chances of that?
We're sitting at this place called Walker Creek, and Curtis was taking some footage of some people out on this little lake, I guess, with in a canoe, and this huge bird flies by. Never seen one like that before.
It must have been I don't
know. I don't even know what to say it was.
Maybe a crane or something?
Well, it wasn't the color of a crane, but it was dark with a long neck like a goose. We may have to do some investigating and find out what that was, because it was like a 747 going by.
Yeah, and I got a little bit of video of it, but nothing too great of it in the sky. But yeah, no, what's the odds that you're just sitting here?
Sometimes that's the way it works.
That's true.
Well, we maybe find them again, because this is fairly close to Churchill River Canoe Outfitters, so we'll be back to this location several times.
So as we continue our wildlife adventure this morning, we've come across a few interesting things in the region that are a lot different from what we're used to in the south.
No kidding, eh? I wasn't expecting to see those rock walls right along the road.
Yeah, it almost feels like we're in the mountains in a way.
It does. It's the same thing as you'd find in Alberta or BC. You're driving along and you hit a hill, and all of a sudden, bang, there's a rock wall right along the road. I don't know, some of those would be probably 40 feet high.
Yeah, like a pretty high, that's for sure. And little holes in them, so you can tell some animal's been making it a home, whether it's a snake or I don't know what calls that out.
Yeah, it's hard to believe something is in there, that's for sure. But you know what, the roads, we're not used to that either. The gravel roads is what we're on up here. The highway ended just north of La Ronge. It's a journey, but that's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Absolutely.
Is to check out an area and a region of Saskatchewan that we've never been before, and honestly, a good chunk of people maybe haven't taken the chance to see. And
that's exactly right.
We're here to document it and see what we can find. And
we've met some people who have been out in the canoes and on trips and stuff like that, and they're coming and going constantly.
Yeah.
You noticed that yesterday when we were in the cabin? Like they were pulling in and there'd be 15 people getting out of a van, and they just got back from a canoe trip that may have lasted 5 days or 10 days.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe.
For us, we're mostly driving around in our vehicle and that. This is new territory for us, but for people who are used to grabbing a canoe and a backpack and heading out into the wilderness with, this is the place to be for that.
Absolutely.
One other thing that we've definitely noticed because of how thick the brush is up here and how isolated you are is I think birds are going to be a big component of the wildlife.
Yeah, because the wildlife are going to be hard to see. I mean, you could have a moose standing 15 feet off the road and you could drive by and not see it. And we haven't gotten down next to the water yet. That's still to come. A lot of the boat docks that we're going to get to and visit, we haven't really gotten down to the water yet, and that might be where we find the otters, which is, you know, definitely in the area. I was out early this morning and I saw something, but I have no idea what it was. It wasn't your typical gopher or chipmunk or groundhog.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see, but yeah, I agree 100%. I think birds are going to be a primary factor in this Moose Whisperer cruise.
So we just pulled off at what I'd say is one of the larger pull-out areas that we've seen so far, which took us down to a great little dock at McKay Lake.
This turned out really nice, eh? We pulled in and there was, I don't know, half a dozen vehicles here.
Yeah.
People must be out in their canoes and boats or whatever, but this is the kind of spot that we are accustomed to, where you pull in and find everything you need and a beautiful, calm day. Very nice, but it's there's not that many between La Ronge and Mississippi.
No, actually, and me and Mom just found a sign over here for right kind of by the dock.
Yep.
That shows the area, and there isn't really much water between Mississippi and here.
Okay.
It looks like a lot of the littler lakes are between here and Stanley Mission.
Okay.
Or here and back to La Ronge itself.
Gotcha. And we are planning on spending some time around La Ronge on Friday, right?
Yeah, because in all honesty, Mississippi to La Ronge isn't that far, but because of the northern region and the type of roads that you're on, you can't drive them like, you know, we're maybe used to with a highway where you're going, you know, 100. You're more kind of cruising at a nice slow pace.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and so we're going to continue looking around Mississippi here and exploring this region, but we're definitely going to dedicate a day to La Ronge Provincial Park on the southern area there when we're heading back, most likely on Friday.
Exactly.
We'll be taking in that area.
Exactly.
Which
Looking
might
forward
be
to that.
might be the one that people are more used to visiting, I'd say, in the region. Mississippi's a bit more up on the north end, but I also noticed that Otter Lake is north of Mississippi.
Yep.
And so it'll be interesting for us to go and explore that region as well. But this little pullout was really nice, and we'll be coming back to get more footage, hopefully on a day when the smoke might not be as thick.
That's going to play a big role. If we can get back here on an early morning when the sun is up.
Probably one of the better views without the smoke, I would say, that we maybe have come across in our adventures.
Absolutely.
When you actually look at it,
It is going to be a nice gem if we can find a special morning or evening where there's no smoke. It'll be nice.
And then you found a little bug of some sort right when we pulled up.
Yeah, we just pulled up and I looked out and I thought it was a butterfly. And beautiful green and black. And it landed literally right there, like 10 feet from me. And I started photographing it. And I still don't know whether it was a butterfly or maybe a dragonfly.
Maybe a dragonfly of some
Betty
sort.
thought maybe a dragonfly because it does look like a dragonfly, but it was the color that caught me by surprise.
It looks like it got a paint job at a custom shop.
Yeah, exactly.
It's neon green with some fluorescent or metallic.
Wasn't happy with the original.
No.
But anyway, we got a really nice picture of that. That's going to turn out. That may end up being a print.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. That was quite an experience, Curtis.
Wow, yeah, we're kicking the afternoon off, and just north of where we're staying, there's a bunch of interesting places that you can go to look.
Yeah, we came across this bridge, as a matter of fact, over the Churchill River. It was only about 6 or 7 kilometers north of where we're staying at Churchill River Canoe Outfitters. And this was a highlight so far.
Wow, yeah, no, it's an old style bridge. I'm not sure, bridges are always so unique in that each one's engineered differently depending when it was built, but it's got a nice little walkway on the side that we walked out on, spent some time on overlooking the rapids and some of the water, and wow, what a cool little scenery.
I couldn't believe the loudness of
Yeah.
the rapids. That was the surprising point. Like, we were standing together talking, and I felt like I had to speak up in order for you to hear me.
Yeah.
Like, it was loud, and on one side you got the rapids coming towards you, and then you move to the other side and they're going away from you. But boy, the scenery is just beautiful. Even with the smoke that we're experiencing today, if we get back to this bridge on a nice, bright, sunny morning, early in the morning or later in the afternoon, it's going to be just
One
fabulous.
of the best spots we've probably seen, you know.
Yeah,
in
it's
that,
going to be
so.
fabulous. This morning I was over visiting with Martin at the office, and these 4 young people were getting some ice cream late in the morning. And they had gone down this river. 2 of them went down the river right under this bridge just wearing life jackets. Nothing else. They weren't in a kayak, no canoe. They wanted to be adventurous and try this. So they swam out into the bay, which is west of here. And then they got into the river and they just floated down the river through the rapids, under this bridge, into the bay down here. And it was just, they said it was the most adventurous thing they've ever done, but they're glad they did it. Just in a life jacket.
Yeah. I can imagine it would be quite the adventure, but one I probably would never sign up for.
You would have to push me in and watch me float away. That's the only way it would happen. And I'd be screaming like you wouldn't believe, from the time I hit the water to when I got to land on the other side. It would be that bad. So not for me at all.
So the community that we're actually staying in is Missinippi, and we've gotten a chance now that we are all loaded into our cabin to explore it a little bit, and it's actually quite the nice, small little community.
It is. You know, there's lots of people up here that are renting cabins, whether it's for a week or 2 or a month or the entire summer. We've met people from all around the province, and yeah, it's nice. It's happening. They've got a little community hall where we've driven by several times, and of course, the ironic thing is that everything is basically based on water, Curtis, and boats, right?
Yes, yeah, a lot of people have docks, and there they have their boat planes or their boats, and people are traveling around on golf carts.
Yeah, it's amazing. Everybody's just tooting around, but we've seen and heard so many planes lift off, and these are water planes, of course. But yeah, the nice cabins that are down along the lake, they each have seem to have their own dock. And it's either a really nice boat or a plane.
Yeah.
You know, which is really different for us. We're not used to that.
And on top of that, there's a little park area in the middle that we found with some horseshoes to chuck, and a little area it looked like for a stage. We've seen little critters running around like chipmunks and bush bunnies. So overall, it's a nice little community.
And everybody's hot spot is the ice cream store.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool too. The Scoops, I guess, is what it's called. Right at the Churchill River Canoe Outfitters. I know Martin sold several cones this morning that were stacked pretty good, you know, but kids are loving that place too.
So it's the evening of our first day, and we're out using as much of the daylight as we can.
It's been one of those days where a lot of scenery and a lot of birds.
Yes.
And guess what we just came across?
We found a loon, probably the closest one we've found in a while.
Yeah, they seem to like the middle of the lakes.
Yeah, they don't hang out near the edges, but this one was running some sort of marathon, I would think.
Up the middle and down the
And
middle.
down.
So we just kind of followed him along.
Yeah.
And got as much as we possibly could.
And he, at some points, even started cleaning himself or fluffing his feathers. It was really quite the ritual. He would slowly open his wings and then flap the...
Just let him go. Yeah, he did it more than once, so we were happy to watch that. Again, the terrain here, Curtis, you and I are not used to this at all.
No, this is very different from what we're
Wow,
used to.
the bush is like right up to the road. So unless you come along just as a bear steps out or just as a moose steps out, you're not going to see it.
No, whereas in the prairies and that, you can spot a moose,
Yeah,
you know,
mile away.
a grid road across.
Yeah, exactly. So this is This is pretty tough. This is pretty tough sledding, and I know there's wildlife here, but it's a very fine line of timing because of the bush and the road, and there's only one road north and south.
Yep.
And then one road over to Stanley Mission. So you're up and down the same road all the time, and you just gotta find that right time. And you know what? Our time may come.
Yep.
It
we
might
still
happen.
have lots of days left to explore the area and that.
Absolutely. But in the meantime, we're enjoying the birds. So it's been one of those days, but you know what? It's only day one. So
Day one, we got a lot more days behind us and a lot of more fun
Yep.
adventures to try out.
absolutely, we're looking forward to it. Well, Curtis, I can't believe it, but what a way to start day two today. We're back at Missinippi here after a fabulous boat ride. I don't know what to say. 2 hours on a boat and just amazing scenery along the way. Like the water waves and the water just goes on and on and on. I couldn't believe it.
It's way different than what we were used to because, you know, when we are looking up destinations on a map and it's like, you know, let's travel to this area or this area, it's all done by grid roads or roads or highways, whereas here, the water is the highways.
Yeah.
So when they say, you know, we're going to go check out Rattler's Creek, they don't just drive up the road. You know, they hop in a boat
Yep.
and head down the lake. And for us, you know, that was a different way for us to start a day in terms of the Moose Whisperer. Was in a boat, not a wagon.
We knew coming up we were going to be breaking new ground. And when Martin from Churchill River Canoe Outfitters offered a guide and said, you know what, Lyle, you guys got to get out in a boat to really experience the area, he wasn't kidding.
No.
Like, we went through some waterways this morning. We just got off the boat a few minutes ago. I don't know, I'm speechless. Like, it was really amazing. We're not boat people to begin with, but the ride was about 45 minutes one way,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, to get to the rapids.
So the main destination that we traveled to, or Tom took us to as a crew, was Rattler's Creek, which
Yep.
was, you know, like we said, about a 40-minute jaunt away. But once you got in there, you know, things kind of slowed down and we really kind of meandered our way up this creek, and there was a lot of amazing sights in there and could have been a fantastic spot for lots of wildlife.
Oh, absolutely. We could have seen bear. We did see some eagles. We got really close to this one wall of rock, and it had some paintings on it. And Tom, he didn't know how old it was, but it went back, way back. And you could see the artistic behavior of the drawings and the paintings. And he pulled us up within 10 feet of this rock wall.
Could almost touch it.
Yeah, exactly. It was amazing. So that was one of the highlights from the trip, getting to
For sure.
Rattler's Creek. But yeah, the scenery and the island after island of water, you know, you just weave your way around him, and he knew exactly where he was
And then
going.
once you get to the end of the creek, there's some rapids there that you can't pass with the boat, but you know, you're able to just shut it down and just observe it. And what a scene, I gotta say. Yeah.
Tom just weaseled us right in there. Like,
we wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, I'd have piled her up into a rock. I know that for sure. But Tom was steady. He just eased it up there, killed the motor, and then we just started shooting. And it was a beautiful, isolated area that was leading into the trees, and this water was flowing over these rocks coming towards us. And yeah, it was such a peaceful moment. I'll never forget that. Like, it was
yes.
awesome. And that was after you went all through the big lake
Yes.
and around all these islands and down Rattler's Creek, and all of a sudden you just come to a dead end. And there it is.
There it is.
It was just crazy. We saw wildlife along the way.
Yeah, lots of birds. There was eagles flying beside us
Yep.
and sitting in trees. Their nests are huge.
Massive, massive. And 3 or 4 pelicans on a little rock island. I want to call it a rock island because that's pretty much what it was.
That's where they had perched themselves up, and
Oh.
they were enjoying the day.
And Tom, our guide, was just phenomenal. He knew exactly where he was taking us, how long it was going to get there. And we just weaved our way around all these islands and rock formations. They tell us that these waterways are all connected to different lakes as you continue north and east for as far as you want to go almost.
It is, and even once you get there, then people just portage their canoe. They just pick it up, walk across the land, and hop in the next body of water.
I couldn't believe it. It was just an amazing experience for 2 hours, and the hardest part was getting in and out of the boat.
Yeah.
That was it. That's all I was responsible for. And Tom did the rest.
Yeah, he took care of us pretty good.
It was just plumb crazy. I can't believe we did it, but it was so worth it. So worth it.
And then after that, we took you guys back to the dock, and I went out with Tom on another little adventure, because I've heard from multiple people that if you're up in Lac La Ronge Provincial Park in Mississippi,
Yep.
that you have to go to Robertson's Falls.
And guess where you and Tom went? Robertson's Falls.
Yeah, Tom took me on a journey out there, and we pulled up to a little, I would say kind of like a man-made dock where there was some rocks and a place you could walk, and he docked the boat for us, and we went on a little bit of a hike, and sure enough, you come out, when you kind of first arrive with the boat, you're at the top of the falls, and you could easily accidentally drive off if if you didn't know that they were coming up, but you see them a little bit, that there's a drop off there, so you kind of park on the left, and then you hike around so you can see them from the actual front of the falls, and
that
wow,
must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was great. The water's rushing and the sound's there, and everything's lush and green, and he actually mentioned that there was areas where we walked in and there was an outhouse, like a fairly new outhouse that was built, and a big circle campground with some chairs, and he explained that a lot of people will canoe out there, and they'll spend the night there, and they'll carry on to the next place.
That's the kind of adventures that are available up here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the province is even aware of it or not, because man, we're seeing tours going out left and right for various amount of days right here at Churchill River Canoe Outfitters. And what you just said there, people do that on their own. They just canoe out to this place, Robertson Falls, and it sounds like they camp for 1 or 2 nights and do whatever they want. Like, what an outdoor adventure.
Which is, somebody's cup of tea, and a lot of people who would, love to do that.
Yeah, how many people can say that, Like, man, oh man, that's amazing. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it, but I did jump in a boat and go for a 2-hour ride, so I'm pretty happy about that.
We covered new ground today. Who would have thought the Moose Whisperers would be out of a van and in a boat?
No
but here we are, and we're happy we did it.
So happy, and so thankful.
Thought we were really traveling fast until a goose pulled up beside us and passed us.
Yeah, I don't know if he signaled. I don't know if he signaled or not, but he certainly blew by us.
Yeah.
That's a good point,
that
Betty.
was one of Mom's highlights of the trip, was getting passed by a goose when she thought we were moving at Mach 5 speed.
Yeah, well, look at that 747 going by. Wait a minute, that's just a goose. He's going a lot faster than we are. That was funny. There you go. And we can't thank Martin enough for setting it all up. Absolutely, because he was the instigator, and he made sure it happened, and boy, we can't thank him enough. It was great.
It's an experience that's a lot different from any Moose Whisperer one we've done before.
Absolutely.
So after an eventful morning, we pit stopped for some lunch, and now we have a chance to chat with Rick, who you've been communicating with a lot, who's a local, who's lived in the area for many, many years.
Rick is known up here as a storyteller because he's been here since the early 70s, and he's done it all. He's done it where he moved in and as a youngster, and then he started guiding the canoe trips and owning it, and he's gone from one spectrum of it right to the other, and he lives here. He's been around for 50 years or so, and man, oh man, I'm looking forward to chatting with Rick because he's going to have a lot of great stories to share with us.
He really lives and breathes the community, and we can't wait to hear more about that.
And that is so obvious. Well, the days are flying by here at Churchill River Canoe Outfitters, and we finally managed to get Rick Driediger to join me this morning or this afternoon. And you know what, Rick? Thank you for finding time in your schedule, first of all, to sit down for a few minutes here today.
Well, you're quite welcome. I'm not that busy these days, so it's
Well, that's okay.
it's a pleasure.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing, Rick. Absolutely. We want to talk a little bit, I guess, first of all, Rick, let's go back to the beginning for you, because I know you guys have got so many services here and so many different programs, from canoeing and sightseeing and holidaying and tours and stuff like that. But let's go back to your early days and see where it all started for you. Is this area home? First of all, I'll get you to explain where we are, I guess, in the province as well. But is this area home for you, northern Saskatchewan?
Well, we're in a little town called Missinippi, north of La Ronge, which is on the Churchill River. Missinippi is the Cree name for the Churchill River.
Gotcha.
And we are on the Churchill River. And you look at some of the old voyageur books from the 1700s, 1600s, and they call this river the Missinippi. And it means big water, not fast-flowing water like Saskatchewan, but big water. I first came here in 1972. I came on a canoe trip. At the end of that canoe trip, the guy who was guiding us, a guy named Laverne, said, so when you go home, how are people going to notice that you're different? Because he said, anytime you spend 8 days, 10 days in wilderness, you're going to be changed.
Is that right? Cool.
And I thought, that really got me thinking about wilderness and what it means and what, and all the stuff that goes along with that. That winter, an older friend of mine came to me and he said, I heard you were on a canoe trip last summer. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I'm guiding a couple of canoe trips. I wonder, would you be interested in coming along as my assistant? And I thought, yeah. And then he made the mistake of asking me how much I wanted to get paid for it. And I had never conceived of the idea that you could get paid to go canoeing. Like that blew my mind, and ever since then, that has been kind of, I can get paid to do this, I can get paid to do this.
Something that you really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And actually I can get paid to do what I love.
Yeah.
So over the years, I was up here all summer. From 1973 on, I've been here pretty much all summer, every summer. And so this has kind of become my home.
Now, as far as some of the cabins that you have here and the accommodations, because I know Martin, we're going to talk to Martin as well about the tours and the canoe trips and the training programs. I know all that's under your umbrella. Yeah. But let's talk about accommodations. What have you got here, Rick, for accommodations for people to come up and enjoy this area of the province?
Every building has a different story.
Okay.
Up the hill behind this cabin, there's a little cabin called the Fox Den.
Ah, nice name.
Yeah, and it's a one-bedroom. It's good for a couple.
Yeah.
And it's the first building that was built here.
Really?
It was built in 1959. It's cedar log. It's one of those panabode cedar log buildings, and it's still in beautiful. Like you wouldn't believe that it's that old, but it was the first building built here in 1959. And then at the same time, they got 2 cedar log, like panabode packages. They got that little Fox Den, and then over there we have the Otter Lake Lodge, which is a big 3-bedroom, huge living room, huge, and it was built at the same time, but the next summer.
Okay.
Like 1960. So it's big, it has lots of room. You have lots of room for people to run around or groups to sit. Like it's a beautiful,
my goodness,
big building. And then we have some old traditional log buildings that, they're getting old and they're showing it. But there's a charm in staying in some traditional log buildings, and there's 2 of them here. One we call the Log Cabin, another one we call the Aspen. And,
nice. A little rustic then, eh?
They're rustic.
Yep.
I mean, they've got all the comforts. I mean, but they're older.
The appearance, but older brings a lot of character.
Oh, it sure does.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you were talking about the door that you had to keep short. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
it shows a lot of character.
You walk around, and this is downhill. It's handy to walk when you're washing. Dump water at that end, and it all runs together.
Exactly.
But
just pour it here and let it run down there.
Yeah, and then wipe it up at the other end. But
that's funny.
And then behind me here, we have one called Raven's Loft, and that one, for me, it's special because that was my parents' cottage.
Oh, okay.
And all of the grandchildren would all come and spend the summer there with them.
Wow.
And, it's not a great, like if you're a group of 4 or 5 fishermen, it's not a great cabin for you. But if you're coming here, grandpa and grandma, and you've got 3 of your grandchildren there, it is perfect.
That's the cabin.
Or a family, or whatever, it's perfect for that. And when I walk in there, I open the door, walk in and say, hi, Mom, even though she's long gone.
Yep.
but it just
Wow.
it makes it's one of those. I love walking in there because
That's
it just
very
reminds me of
impactful,
my
eh?
parents, you know. And
That's
and
incredible.
So that one has sentimental value, whether and if it's the right group, it's the perfect cabin for them. And then behind that one, further over, is one called Eagle's Nest, and it's a really high A-frame cabin, 4 bedrooms. 1, 2, 3, 4 double beds, 3 single beds. There's lots of room in there, and it's you're way up high, and it's a beautiful
My goodness.
place for a larger group. This building here, there was a building here that it was an old log building that was slowly, you know, the logs were compressing. It was old, like it was
starting to go down.
It was, and we thought, I guess it's time. And it just so happened that when we decided, yes, it's time, my friend Mike was here, and I said, Mike, we've got to get rid of that building. Would you be interested in building a replacement for us? And he just jumped at it. Like there was no, like that, right away he was planning and dreaming and how big do you want it, you know. And so,
Is that right?
So we ended up with this building. And,
Silver birch cabin.
yeah, and it is beautiful. Like
Well, you know what? I think you should describe it a little bit here too, Rick, because you've got such a beautiful kitchen, a big fireplace, the loft upstairs.
even things like we call it the silver birch. And so my wife went out and gathered, like if you look at the banister up there, it's all
Yep.
birch.
Yeah.
She went out and gathered all those birch and varnished them. And then Mike's son built that banister. And
Wow.
it's birch. It's beautiful. Like
Yeah.
and if you look at the bottom of the beams,
Yes.
you know, you notice it says silver birch on there. Well, that's a Mike thing, you know, and it
Wow.
says silver birch on the fireplace.
Yeah,
That's a Mike
detail.
thing. Like there's so many little things
Just
in here
incredible.
that,
Well, this is an amazing place, and we can't thank you enough for the support that both you and Martin have jumped on to provide us here, you know, for these 5 days that we're up here. This is just incredible. Now, as far as highlights, just a couple of quick ones, I guess, Rick. Over the years, whether it's encounters with wildlife or people, specific people that you may have met and still are friends with today, but just a couple of highlights of your career, especially with the amount of time that you've been up here at Missinippi.
the thing that has attracted me to guiding is that when I see something that I really love, I have to share it. You know, I have to show it to other people, and so my whole purpose for guiding is I want to share what I've discovered. In the taking people out to share, I discover a whole bunch of new things, and so it's always the people that make the trip. You know, and you'd ask what my favorite route is. Well, it always has to do with my favorite group.
Yeah, the experience.
Who did I love
Yeah,
to take out the most, and well, where we happened to go, just
the experience.
yeah.
Yeah.
So many of my best memories are groups or individuals that I guided with or spent time with, yeah.
And now you get to sit back and watch them going out.
Yeah.
I saw you visiting with people over at your
Yeah.
office with Martin the other day. There was a group going out. We met some of your staff members this morning down at the dock. They were loading up some canoes. I met a girl from Yorkton who just loves working here.
Yeah.
And couldn't believe that she was visiting with the Moose Whisperer crew. She goes, "You guys have got hats. You guys have got swag. That's awesome."
Yeah.
She was really impressed, you know?
Yeah.
But we enjoyed that a lot and a good visit with them. But man, oh man, you got a good crew here, and Martin is running a great
has done
great
an amazing
ship. You know,
yeah.
Wow.
He's done an amazing job of hiring staff this year. Like I am so impressed with the group.
Well, that's good.
And
that's good.
You know, and I think that the highlights really have, like to a large extent, have to do with the staff that have been working with me. And we have everybody over for meals. They're always all invited for meals, but there's always so many other things going on but it's sitting around that table with those staff.
Right.
And they're all really special people, and they come in and they start talking about the trip that they just did, or they start talking about, and well, what do you think, Rick? And it just it's just the most special, my favorite.
That must get the old heart ticking.
It's my favorite time, and this staff that Martin has here this year are phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did bring a book with you, and you mentioned a book a few minutes ago. Maybe I should get you to talk about that book.
Well, because I've paddled so many routes in Saskatchewan, so many places, and because I talk to, I'm in that office there and I talk to groups, like many groups every day about their canoe trip, and I always try to get all the information I possibly can about the route that they did, and what it was like, and how they felt about it. And so people, just to finish the story about that book, one of my staff who was working in the office said, Rick, like, you know everything. Can you write down something about every route? Because people come in and they say, we want to go on a canoe trip, we have 5 days. I don't know where to send them, but
Yeah.
Rick, you always have all these ideas, and so can you write it down? So I started writing it down. Well, and then a second staff person, this was about 2 years later, said the same thing, and okay, this is it. Like, I'm gonna have to, like, it's all in here.
Yep.
If I don't write it down,
Nobody else is going to know.
like yeah.
That's the trick.
So it only took me a very short time to write that book. Like, within a month I had it written. It took way longer to get the maps in there. Those maps were a real pain.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with them.
Good. Well, that's all that matters.
And then I have a bunch of pictures, and my son had been guiding for a bunch of years, and he had a bunch of pictures, and then I just started contacting people that I know had done certain routes that I didn't have pictures for.
Right.
And everybody was just so pleased to send me pictures. And I gave them a free book for the picture. So
yeah. Perfect. Perfect.
But
that's
yeah,
great.
So that's how that book came to be. Yeah.
Something we haven't touched on, Rick, I guess, is the wildlife that you've encountered in the area, which is part of our experience while we're here too. What are some that you've come across in your travels or are quite familiar with?
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a misconception about wildlife here in that they think around every corner you're going to see another moose standing there or a bear wandering along the shore or whatever, and it just isn't that way. Like, there's a reason why before the white guys came, this area was really sparsely populated.
Right.
And it's because to the north you've got hundreds of thousands of caribou, for the south you've got hundreds of thousands of bison, and in here you've got, there's a moose over there, and there might be one over there someplace, and you know, it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But any animal that eats fish, or any bird that eats fish, that's what's here, because this area is fish.
Gotcha.
And so mink, otter, the two mammals that spend a lot of time eating fish.
Yep, absolutely.
Eagles.
There you go.
Osprey, pelicans. I mean, they're...
And we've seen several of those already.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the biggest concentrations of pelicans anywhere on the Churchill. And I don't know, did you see any when you were out in the boat today?
Yes, we did. We saw some pelicans.
Okay.
We saw some eagles.
Yeah.
So that's a good start right there.
Yeah.
And I think I saw maybe a mink or the other one the other day.
Yeah.
He just from one side of the road to the other.
Oh,
he was gone.
They go by. Yeah. You don't very often see them, but you see evidence. Like I remember the one place we used to take our kids when they were smaller. Right near where we camped, there was a place where the otter. It was a family of otters that would lie down the bank into the river, and then there's a place where you could see that they'd run up, and all the way along there were fish bones from them eating
on the way up.
Eating the fish, you know. Sometimes they just didn't make it to the top of the hill, you know. And
they had to share if they got to the top.
Yeah, that's probably it. You know, so any animal that is a fish-eating animal, there are lots of them here. But other than eagles that are flying around up there, and pelicans, you can't miss them when they're around. But you don't see them because they hide.
You know, this has just been amazing, Rick. Wow. I can't thank you enough for the hospitality, first of all, but just meeting you, and we're going to be introducing Martin to the viewers as well. Yeah. I can't thank you enough for everything, and I wish you nothing but more happiness going forward. My goodness, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thanks for everything.
Yeah.
Well, as we start day 3, Curtis, we're looking forward to today. We got a few things on the agenda, but I guess first and foremost, we've had a welcoming committee at the cabin.
Yeah, even though we haven't found too much other than birds and that when we've been on our drives, there is an abundance of little rabbits and bunnies around the cabins, as well as squirrels, and they have been very friendly with us, that's for sure.
All you got to do is go out and sit on the deck, and they show up, and some great video for you, and I've got some great photographs as well.
You go out there and, you know, you sit down in the grass, and they'll walk almost right up to you and start nibbling on flowers and grass, and eventually they'll get, you know, some energy in them, and they'll start hopping around and doing donuts. But they're just a joy to be around, and always something fun to capture.
Yeah, the bunnies are more prone to come a little bit closer and not quite as jerky movements as the squirrels, because they don't stop. They just kind of they're all over the place. But bunnies at least stop and sit up, and you know, they'll look at you and the ears will go down, and you've got some great video of those.
Oh yeah, you can watch them devour a flower in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, it disappears pretty fast, but it's just nice to see them around. Last night too, pretty exciting stuff we heard from Martin about 8 o'clock or so.
Yeah, no, he gave us a little text message and let us know that there has been, and he saw a bear in the area.
Yeah, there was one just outside of the town, and he left about 8 o'clock or so. Texted me back about 8:15 and said, Lyle, I just came across a bear, so there's one in the area. I said, well, we'll try to find it tomorrow, Martin. We're just finishing up a late supper, so plus, of course, 8 o'clock at night up here in the bush, it was getting a little bit dark at that time anyhow.
Yep, so that's the agenda today, is a full day of cruising and looking for wildlife.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Looking forward to it in more ways than one.
Well, we've been out and about this morning and have not had much luck for wildlife, but have taken the time to take in a lot of the scenery of the area.
Just amazing scenery, and you're right, Curtis, regarding the wildlife. Just really tough sledding with the bush so close to the road and so thick, but the scenery, we found a couple of nice lakes. McKay Lake was one of them that we spent some time at.
It's becoming one of our more favorite lakes to pull up on. It's got a nice little island out there, and it's nice and, you know, conserved and reserved.
And there's so many of these nice sloughs, which is why we're checking them out along the roads, that we hope to find a bear or a moose at, but every one we go by, it's nothing there. And I think it's just simply because of the bush being so thick that it's awful hard to spot them.
Yeah, because these areas are prime areas for wildlife. You know, when we stop and sit by them like we are right now for, you know, 5 or 20 minutes, these are ample areas for what I would assume to be any kind of like marsh wildlife, moose, bear.
Absolutely.
Prime areas, and so we're giving them as much time as we can just in case one waddles in while we're sitting here.
And that happens.
It does.
Sometimes all you have to do is stop and let the world go by, and that's when you'll find a bear come out or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, we did find some really nice scenery this morning, and we're happy for that. We're going to head back to the cabin for some lunch there, Curtis, and then this afternoon we've got a nice get-together planned, eh?
Yeah, we're going to chat with Martin, who has been our contact for where we've been staying, and he's going to share a little bit more with us about
Churchill River Canoe Outfitters and the operation.
Yeah.
And of course, how everything works when it comes to booking some of these journeys and expeditions. I'm looking forward to that. He's a real knowledgeable fellow when it comes to adventurous, getaways up here in the north.
Oh yeah, no, it is fantastic.
Well, we finally have a chance to sit down with Martin Bernardin here today up at Churchill River Canoe Outfitters. We've been conversing for months.
Yeah, no, it's been exciting.
Absolutely.
Right from the beginning. We're excited to have you guys here.
Oh, absolutely. And we can't thank you and Rick enough for the hospitality and the cabin that we're in. And we got out today with a great boat tour with Tom. So many, many thanks for all of that. But we want to introduce Martin to Saskatchewan here and talk a little bit, I guess, Martin, about the beginning for you on your road as far as where you were, how it all started for you, and where you are today.
It started out back in university. I decided that I wanted to build a canoe because I was, too broke to buy one, and I thought it'd be cheaper to just build one. I
there you go.
Very little experience, and with canoeing, I just knew that's something that I wanted to do. And so over my last year of university, I built a canoe, and from there my brother and I paddled down the Hayes River, which is a river in northern Manitoba that's kind of runs uninterrupted for 600 kilometers. So we went and did that trip, and with all the trials and tribulations of doing a major wilderness trip like that with very little experience and in a homemade canoe, it basically set up the rest of my life from there.
Incredible. Did you expect that when you went out on that
journey?
No,
I had no idea.
Not at all, right? No.
But had it not be for that initial, building the canoe and going on that canoe trip, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What a great story and what a beginning. Did you do all the early stuff when it come to this area? Like, did you do the guiding and everything else to work your way up to where you are today?
No, actually.
Oh, is that right? That's good.
Yeah, I joke with people because I've never actually been on a guided canoe trip, either as a participant or as the guide, right?
Yeah.
I've done lots of canoe tripping, and so I've got a good idea of,
Right.
what makes a good canoe trip. I come more from the business side of it. Like after that canoe trip, about 5 years later, I started a canoe manufacturing business called Kissimmee Canoe Company.
Oh, wow.
And we were still living in Saskatoon at the time. And then we ended up moving up to La Ronge, and I decided to go full-time into canoe building, and I retired from my engineering job up at the mines. We had extra space in the building that we purchased, and so we decided that, maybe we should open a little retail shop. And so from there, we started selling camping gear and canoes and paddleboards and kayaks and all that kind of stuff. And we also did canoe rentals and shuttles. Yeah, so then 10 or 12 years later, whatever it is now, the opportunity came to acquire Churchill River Canoe Outfitters from Rick. And at the time, and this is, something that we've always looked up to. And when you're in northern Saskatchewan and you're running a canoe outfitting business, the gold standard is always Churchill River Canoe Outfitters. So,
Right. Wow.
So when the opportunity came to, get involved here, it was basically a big stepping stone for us.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the services and the programs, because I know you've got a laundry list under your umbrella. It isn't just jump in the truck and go out and spend some time in a canoe. So
Yeah.
let's talk about some of those services and programs that you offer as a business.
Basically, we're a resource for people who want to come up paddling in the north. So we provide everything from just basic information. People want to know, what the conditions are like up here. They have an idea, maybe I want to do a 3-day trip, don't like portages, and
Yep.
I don't like whitewater, and I want, so we kind of go through that with them and help them, give them some options on where they might want to go paddling. From there, we do basic outfitting. So if you needed to rent a canoe or a barrel or anything like that, anything canoe related, we typically will rent here. We also do boat rentals. So we get a lot of fishermen come up in
Yeah.
the spring. So we rent motorboats and provide fishing guides. We also provide a shuttle service. So if, it's one thing to rent the canoes, but now you got to get to wherever is your starting point or your end point.
Right.
So we've got several vans here that we shuttle people all over northern Saskatchewan. That's kind of the outfitting side of the business. Then we provide canoe instruction. So if you wanted to learn how to paddle whitewater,
Wow.
canoeing, we put on courses so that, you can spend 3 days up here, with our professional instructors, and we treat them like a mini canoe trip. So it's basically all inclusive. All you got to do is get here at the right date, and the first night we'll put you up in our paddling lodge, and then the next 3 days will be spent camped out on Barker Lake, which is kind of a mecca for whitewater canoeing up here.
So when these people leave after 3 or 4 days, they're way more knowledgeable than
Oh,
when
yeah.
they arrive,
Yeah,
right?
no, for
Like,
sure.
holy man, that's awesome.
And it's not just whitewater instruction, but you also learn how to camp, how we prepare our food, and you kind of get a small taste of what we provide on our guided canoe trips, which is the other layer of what we do here. Is we do fully outfitted, fully guided canoe trips that people can either book privately, like as a small group, or publicly you can book as a single person. We have trips that run, beginner trips that are here on Otter Lake or down to Mistoyak Falls, to full-on wilderness expeditions that we go way up to the territories.
Wow.
And down.
And you're gone for how long? Some
Our
of those,
trips are
what, 9,
typically
11
like
days?
5 days to 2 weeks.
Is that right?
Yep.
Man, that's an adventure of a lifetime. If you want to create some family memories or bonding time and get the crew together and go up and do that,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
that would be amazing. You must see a lot of return customers. And where I'm going with this, Martin, is the friendships that you acquire over the years with faces and names that you see maybe not every year, but maybe every second year or something like that. Is that fair to say?
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
yeah. Once we get them introduced to it and hooked, then we get them coming up every year, and you get to see a lot of young families that start coming up. They get to a point where now it's the kids that are coming up on their own. And if you go back as far as Rick, you've got their grandfather or grandparents
first started coming up, and then their parents came up, and now it's like 2, 3, 4 generations down. Yeah.
Because he was talking about some cabins, and he had mentioned some that, you know, it's ideal for grandparents to bring the grandkids up because it did exactly what you just said.
Last week we had somebody that was 91 or 92 years old, and he said the first time he came here was 1972.
Him and Rick.
Rick wasn't even here yet. That was like the previous owner before Rick.
Okay, there you go.
So like Churchill River Canoe Outfitters has a long history. You know, it's been around for over 60 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, the office, I was in there the other day, and you were selling ice cream like you wouldn't believe. And it wasn't even a really hot day. That's what I was surprised about. It was like 18 or 20. Yeah. And ice cream was going out the door like you wouldn't believe it. So that must be a real highlight for you to sit there and watch people leave the building with a big old bowl of ice cream that you were serving up.
For sure, yeah. Like we started serving ice cream last season. And the first thing it does is it brings the whole community in, because a lot of people, like, or in the other businesses in Mississippi here, you know, they're not canoers necessarily, so they have no reason to come into the CRCO office, right? But now that we have ice cream, the people from Thompson's Camp, the people from Osprey, and all the other community members regularly come into the office and buy ice cream.
Specifically.
So it's a really good way to just get to know the community. But now, you know, with all the visitors and the, you know, people going on, you know, now it's becoming a tradition for people when they get back from their canoe trip, you know, to come and have ice cream. And we actually had.
That's awesome.
We had one family come in the other day, and they have like a 3-year-old daughter, and they couldn't get her to leave the canoe trip. Like she was having a fit because they had to go home, and she's like hanging on to the trees and like, I love you trees, I love you.
Oh goodness.
But the only way they could get her to come willingly was to bribe her with ice cream.
Let's go see Martin and buy some ice cream. That's awesome. Oh, you said ice cream, okay. Then I'm gonna come along with you.
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
We'll see you later, canoe. That's funny. I'm gonna go for ice cream.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word community too, Martin, and that I should get you to talk about because of the population growth you must see in May to now, and here we're here in July, but how do you feel about that, and what do you see as far as your vision is concerned with the increased population in the summertime and everybody having fun?
You know, I don't spend a lot of time here in the winter.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a pretty quiet place. And so come summertime, you know, and we're now in July, right, which is starting to be peak period. You know, there's a lot of hustle and bustle out there. There's a lot of people around. There's, you know, there's lots to do here. Like, you know, there's outside of canoeing, obviously fishing is very popular here. There's, you know, hiking and people just relaxing. Like we got a nice beach here. It's a kind of a fly-out point for a lot of the fly-out fishing camps, so you get a lot of people coming in and then flying out the next day and then flying back in, and so
we notice the planes are going constantly. First one leaves every morning around 7:30, 8 o'clock, you know.
Or 6.
Yeah, or 6, yeah, or 6. I guess from a personal standpoint for you, you guys have got such a lush water area here, one road north and south and a couple east and west, and that's about it. And you warned me about that. You told me, you know, we don't have a lot of roads up here, Lyle, so.
Like our roads up here are waterways, right?
Yeah.
It's way, you know, and that goes back, you know, centuries. Because there's so much water here, it's really difficult to build a lot of roads. Yeah. And so the waterways are all connected, and like this would have been the main highway back in the fur trade to get out west. Like if you were heading towards Edmonton or heading up north into the territories, you would have passed through here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
But from the wildlife point of view,
yeah,
you may have noticed we've had a few fires this spring.
Just a couple. But, wow, that's devastation.
It's devastation, but from the forest point of view, that's renewal. Right? This is an old forest. The boreal forest is designed to burn every, you know, 40 or 50 years. A lot of this forest is, you know, 60 or 70 years old. It's sad to think about it, and it's tragic for the people that, you know, lost their homes and cabins and trap lines and all that kind of thing. But this is a natural process and a natural part of living in the boreal forest. And what you're going to see you know, if you came back next year, you'll see it all growing up in fireweed. So you'll have all these lush flowers, you know, all over the place, and you'll have bees and all kinds of, you know, small insects and stuff that are feeding off that.
Incredible.
And then in a few years, you're going to have blueberries like we've never seen before. And with the blueberries, that's going to bring the bear population back.
Right.
Right? And then the shrubs are going to grow in. And once you've got the shrubs growing in, that's where you're going to see lots of, you know, moose and animals like that, right?
Just a real cycle, eh?
Yeah.
Man, oh man. The common denominator that I'm picking up on, Martin, is the smiling faces and the happy memories. Nothing on the other end of the spectrum. Everybody you see, whether you're sending them out or bringing them back. I saw a whole van load of youngsters get out of the van yesterday. They were laughing and hooping it up, and they're just getting back from a tour or a journey. Yeah. That's got to be rewarding in itself, outside of the business aspect, is just seeing the smiling faces, eh?
One of the really cool things with Churchill River Canoe Outfitters is people want to come and work here, right? So we have some of the best, like, guides and young staff and contract guides that you'll find anywhere.
That's incredible.
And then we bring really focused on hiring, you know, ambitious, you know, young guides right now, and we've got a training program in place where we, you know, bring them from, you know, zero to a full-fledged guide in a very short period of time.
Ramp everything up.
Ramp everything up.
For anybody who is contemplating, whether it's family, companies, business, this sounds like a place I could take the crew to. Whatever the case may be, we both know that there's a package there for everybody, right?
There's something for everybody up here. Even, you know, like people that, you know, think that sleeping in a tent is, you know, daunting. We've got, you know, beautiful cabins like this available, and our canoes are just, you know, a block away down the street. You can go stay in the cabins for the night and, you know, go paddling during the day. We've got expert instructors here, so if you don't know how to canoe, we're happy to help you out with that. And you know, whether it's just going out on a day trip, spending a weekend or a week up here, we can certainly keep everybody busy.
As we wrap this up today, then, Martin, can you give us a rundown as far as final contact information, not only during the summer, but how can people reach out to Churchill River Canoe Outfitters?
You can look us up on our website, churchillrivercanoe.com. You could give me a call during the winter, summer, anytime, 306-635-4420, or you can email us at office@churchillcanoe.com.
Oh, Martin, it's been so nice. Thank you for all the support.
You bet.
It's been great meeting you, and I wish you all the very best going forward.
Thank you. It was really nice having you guys here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay.
We will.
So I was asking some people who've been to the area before what are some good trails or hikes to do, because I'm not the most adventurous when it comes to hikes and trails, but I do like sprinkling in one or two while we're up here.
Well, I have to be honest with you though, Curtis, you're a lot better at it than I am.
And so the one that was recommended was actually the Devil Lake hiking trail, which we'd been there earlier on day one.
Yes. Getting
some drone work and checking it out. And so I just took some time to explore it, and honestly, it's a pretty closed-in path, but really cool vegetation. Like, there's lots of green berries along it, and it's a more narrow path, and so you've got to kind of watch where you're going with your feet. But I was surprised that by the time I got to the end of it and you come out, it's kind of this open meadow that overlooks the river, which is really nice. Yeah.
Well, from what I could tell, when you took off, it was a very closed-in trail that wasn't groomed like the ones you're used to.
Yeah.
The trees might brush your pants as you walk through, so
it
was one of those trails compared to what we are used to sending you out on.
There were some bugs grabbing a hold of my camera and coming along for the ride, but overall it actually was a very enjoying little trail that I quite liked, and peaceful.
Quite well known too, right?
Yeah. And then you come out at the end of it and you get, it leads right onto the big bridge there that we love so much.
Right at the Churchill River.
Yeah, exactly. So we got the hike done. That's always nice to add in.
Absolutely.
Get some fresh air and out of the van.
Yeah, and lots of mosquitoes.
Yep, load up with bug spray, that's for sure. I wasn't getting bit more.
You did just fine. You did just fine.
So with day 3 coming to an end here, we're just making our way back to the cabin for some supper. Kind of a strikeout on wildlife today, but we did get to take in a lot of good scenery.
Oh, we did. We saw a lot of great scenery, but like you said, wildlife have been pretty tough sledding, Curtis, but that's just because of the terrain. It's so thick up here and the bush is so heavy and right up to the road, like right up to the road. So it's been a great day, but the entire trip has been fabulous, just fabulous as far as scenery, water, and bush.
And just a completely different atmosphere than we've seen anywhere else. Like the adventurousness of here,
Yep.
and the remoteness is just unmatched. And you know, we've gotten to do stuff here that we have not gotten to do anywhere else.
And it's such a busy place too. Like, you know, at Mississippi there, we have people coming and going constantly.
Constantly, yeah.
We met a couple from Weyburn. You know, they were down doing some fishing.
They were.
Man, it was awesome. But yeah, it's been a good day, and
the smoke seems to be kind of settling in here. We've been pretty lucky we've been up here, where most days it's been relatively clear, and so
yeah,
we'll see what the morning has in store for us. But we've got kind of one more day left to really take on what we've got.
And if our plan goes the way we think it might, we're hoping to get up in the morning and slowly make our way back to La Ronge and spend some time there. And of course, finish everything up around the La Ronge area, and of course the Lac La Ronge Provincial Park.
Exactly, because the park is a lot bigger than you'd think, and we've been spending most of our time around the Mississippi region, but all the way down to the south, all the way to La Ronge is the park. And so tomorrow is going to be a day dedicated to exploring what that has to offer, and otters might be on the agenda.
That's the one thing that we hope to find is at the Montreal Bridge, right near La Ronge and Ronge. Apparently there's otters there, so we'll see what happens, but it's been a good 3 days up here. We're going to go about 80 kilometers south tomorrow and fire it up for another busy day there.
Oh yeah, gonna be good. So it's day 4, and we just spent a little bit of the morning taking in Mississippi for the last time.
Yeah, we're down by the big dock here at Otter Lake, and we leave Mississippi this morning in a few minutes, as a matter of fact.
Just as we thought we were done with Mississippi, I was out on the dock, and a big crow or a raven came and landed right on the dock.
Yeah, I'm not sure which it was, but he was pretty friendly, to say the least.
He was very friendly. I got out to see if I could go take some more video of him and some of the other birds, because there was some ducks that were also swimming around, and the closer I got to the raven, I'm used to them, or a crow, I'm used to them flying away.
This guy just sat there. You must have got within about 15 or 20 feet.
And he just looked at me,
he just
content
kept looking
as can
at you.
be.
Yeah, I just kept watching you, watching him. That's what. And from us sitting back here watching both of you, it was kind of funny, like you were having a staring contest or something
between the two of us. But yeah, no,
man.
that's. I will never complain about getting some video of a new bird, because I don't think we've had much luck in capturing.
No, you're right. They're usually gone the minute the tires stop turning. If they're on a power pole or a power line, they're gone.
They are gone. So with that, what a great farewell as we head off to the other part of the park.
And we're heading down to spend the day at La Ronge, and we've got a few places there that we want to check out.
So thank you, Mississippi, and everybody for the hospitality they showed us here, and the sights and wildlife we got to see. So let's see what we can find today.
Absolutely.
Fingers crossed we find some wildlife.
Yeah, otters.
Otters would be top notch.
There you go.
So we are just pulling into La Ronge here now, and man, is this a big lake.
Yeah, we found I guess it would be the north end of it, about 40 kilometers back.
Yeah.
Hard to believe. And then it's been running along beside us on the east side of the road, and just huge. We woke up to a really nice morning in Mississippi this morning, but we're in La Ronge now, and It is smoky.
And we got to see a lot more of the trees from the fire coming back in from the north and that.
Just incredible devastation, eh?
Yep.
Wow. Hard to believe. Everything was just ash.
Yep.
My goodness. Hard to believe. We're sitting at the boat dock here at Lac La Ronge Lake, and pretty smoky today, eh, Curtis? Wow.
Yeah, the smoke has really moved in, and it gives it almost like an eerie vibe, where it feels to me more like it when you look at it, like it's fog, you know, like what you'd expect in Scotland with the locks and stuff like that.
Exactly. We were hoping for a nice sunny day today to get some really nice footage around the La Ronge area, but with this smoke, all we can do is what we can do, and that's it.
Yeah, and with that being said, though, it is one massive lake. Like, I would say, you know, to us, this feels almost like an ocean. Like, that's what I expect in BC.
We're sitting here and we look to the left and there's water for as far as we can see, and we look to the right and there's water for as far as we can see. Like, that's a big lake, my goodness. But
yeah, there's some pelicans floating by and other birds, and
he was going the same direction as the wind. He wasn't doing any work at all.
No. He was coasting along.
Yeah. Good luck coming back, buddy.
One of the other things we noticed at the boat dock there too were just some baby ducks swimming around.
Yeah, I was surprised. There was two families. One family kind of moved into the reeds out of the wind, and then another family with about 6 baby ducks came out of the reeds. So we were pretty lucky to see that.
That was pretty neat. And then at the same time, there was a boat plane just getting ready to take off. We didn't get to capture it flying away, but we did get to capture it putting along the water.
Yeah, he was motoring out to open water and taking his time, and we managed to get him, you know, just as he was going by the dock, which turned out really good.
It was one of the roads that I think you initially scouted out that we were going to do when we were in the area, called Big Stone Road.
Yep.
And it just starts off at the bridge of the Montreal River, and we were barely 1 or 2 kilometers in, and you spotted yourself a big crane standing in the water.
Yeah, he was fishing.
Yep.
So we got some lucky shots of that. He was quite a ways away, but you know what? I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah, no, it'll be a great little component to the video, and just a big bird in general, but really neat to watch it walk slowly through the water, and then when it finally decides to strike, it just, you know, lashes out and gets itself a fish or a bug. I don't know what they eat.
He's so still. They just stand perfectly still, and then all of a sudden he just strikes. And up comes the water and the fish that he has or whatever he's catching. But he's made himself across this bay, and the water, he's not swimming, he's walking.
He's walking through
walking,
it
so the
very
water's not
slowly
that deep.
and gradually, yeah.
And he started over here, and he's just carrying on across, and he's still out there. So we'll see what happens in the next few minutes.
Yep, but it's a good sign whenever you start a new wildlife road and you're already seeing something that you haven't got a chance to film yet.
Exactly, and that's what we wanted today to be all about. So that's the La Ronge area that we're in today.
So we just got a peek here on the Montreal River, and there is a bunch of pelicans hanging out here. So we're just seeing if we can get ourselves a better view opening.
The vegetation is so high. We're just going to try to get a little bit of a vantage point, but I've already tagged it as Pelican Bay.
Pelican Bay.
Pelican Bay. We'll see what happens.
We might not get a chance to peek at it, but if we can get even a look at any point, because they're back in there.
Oh, they're in there. There's a whole bunch of them.
We stopped because we found some more kind of rapidy areas of the river.
Yeah.
And we were going to get some pictures of it, and then all of a sudden in the corner of our eye, one of those herons or cranes was flying right by us, and so we quickly tried to snap a couple pictures and some video, and hopefully we got some, but what an experience that was.
So that was another one of those cases where we were stopped.
Yeah.
And it was flying up the river and just went right by us and then landed, you know, a little ways away, but we're quite a ways past those pelicans right now, Curtis. I don't think we're going to get a good vantage point of them.
I don't think we're going to get any viewpoints directly from the road that we were hoping for.
No, the brush is just way too thick.
But it seems to be a very active river, which is a good sign.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've seen we've seen a lot of birds already, and we've only been on it for about 45 minutes. So that's great.
So we'll put back and on our way back and see if we can find an angle to get them, because I don't think they're going anywhere. They seem bunkered in, pretty happy.
I think most of them are trying to find a spot out of the wind today because it's so windy. So I think that's what they're doing, and they're in that little bay. They're not going anywhere, like you said.
Nope.
We'll do fine.
So the last stop for us was the Montreal River Bridge, which is apparently a place where the otters love to hang out. And so we knew that was going to be one of the last, or the place we wanted to be when we were here.
Yeah, it was one of our final stops, and we didn't find any otters, Curtis, which was okay, because I think that's the closest and longest that we've been able to photograph what we think was a nice crane.
Yeah, it was either a crane or a blue heron,
Yes.
one of the two, but we thought, you know, on the last drive we did when we filmed it quite a ways away in the water that we were getting close, but there was one sitting right close to the bridge.
Yep.
And he was fishing.
Yeah, he was doing like everybody else we've seen in our travels, fishing as well. And I would estimate he was probably about 35 yards from us.
Oh, it was close,
which was awesome. And he didn't fly away.
No, and he was such a big bird, and you could see details that we have not seen before on them, like those feathers.
Yeah.
Almost like a beard.
It was like a beard coming off just down by his neck someplace that kind of branched out. And then, of course, he'd sit there, and you could tell when he was going to strike, because his head would get lower and lower and lower to the water, and then all of a sudden, boom, whatever he was after, he was going to get.
He was going to get, and the attention to detail on them, because we watched it probably for a good 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, at least, yeah.
And it would just watch and scan the water and look around and wait until it's time, and then strike, and it would pull up a fish, and it's like...
And it was standing on a rock.
Yeah.
The whole time.
The whole time.
Did you notice how big the web feet were?
Oh, massive.
They were massive. They were massive.
When I first walked out there, because I was looking for the otters, I saw it and I thought, is that a bird? It looks like it's got feet on it, but it wasn't moving.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, maybe it's just like a piece of grass or something. So I walked further down the bridge.
Yep.
And then that's when I saw it turn its head, and I realized, no, that is a bird.
He did blend in with the rock
Yeah.
and the shrubbery behind him, because there was some dead driftwood there. And he blended right in with that as well.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe how focused he was. He never moved other than his head.
Yep.
And he could have, taken off at any given time, but he must have given us at least 15 minutes
15 minutes to
great
watch,
photography.
yeah. So that's a fantastic way for us to kind of put the final stamp on this trip. And, as things come to an end, we've had an amazing journey up here.
It has been. We've seen some country and done some stuff that we haven't done before, like the boat ride.
Oh.
You went on a second boat ride out to Robertson Falls.
Which was beautiful.
And I can't wait to see the footage you got from that.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome, boy. Man, oh man, what a great trip.
And I feel like we say this quite often, but bird always seems to be around, which is, I love seeing new ones. So yeah, the crane and the heron is the cherry on top at the end of this trip.
And we've seen pelicans before, but when we were on that boat ride, there was 4 of them three of them, I guess, on a rock, and we got pretty close to them. That was really cool from a point of view of being on a boat.
Yeah, rather than looking at them from the shore and capturing them on the water, but to be with them on the water. And that was, I think, the best part about that boat ride, is that it got us into what is such an important part of this region, is that they don't drive on highways, when they're looking at things. There's one road in, one road out.
Yeah.
But once you get on that water, it just expands and you can go anywhere you want, and
they're just arteries.
Yeah.
And one leads into another lake, and that leads into another lake, and we had a real eye-opener as far as boating and planes, water planes.
Yes, yeah.
There were several different companies along the water that were flying constantly. We watched an ambulance loading some stuff onto a big plane this morning when we were down at the boat dock. That was a total different atmosphere for us.
Yeah.
When was the last time we saw that?
Never, yeah.
So that was kind of cool. But yeah, it was a really great eye-opening experience, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Once again, Curtis, we can't thank Martin from Churchill River Canoe Outfitters enough for setting us up with the boat ride and communicating with us for the last 7 months. And Rick from Horizons Unlimited, he owns all the cabins, and he jumped on right away with Martin and said, oh yeah, if these guys are coming up to do a Moose Whisperer shoot, we'll put them in a cabin. Boy, did they put us in a cabin.
They put us in an amazing cabin, and
It
they were
was
more
great.
than happy to be a part of the whole video.
Yeah.
And that's what makes these adventures so special, is that it's the wildlife we find, the scenery, but also the people that we meet and the lifestyles we learn about.
Yeah, and the friendships that we make. I mean, these are friends, and Rick and Martin are a couple of great guys. We met some of their staff while we were here as well. Just a great, great trip. So many, many thanks to Martin and Rick for everything they did to make this journey possible.
And the best part about these trips is time with these guys.
Yes,
There
yeah.
you go.
Family time spent looking and enjoying the week. Like, you can't beat this.
You can't beat
Doesn't
it,
get
Curtis.
much better than this.
Bingo, there you
Boom.
go. Another Moose Whisperer in the books.
Another Moose Whisperer in the books.